Well, hello guys, this is Doug from Indigo Labs Texas, and here we are looking at the guts. And as some of you know, I've trying to document this as a kit on cigarboxguitars.com. That's cbg.com, I believe. And here it is assembled. And this is serial number 22. And just a brief overview. Of course, it's unplugged and everything is discharged. I'm not going to teach you how to be an electronics technician, but I'm going to show you what I did and what works for me. I'll just say that. So real quickly. Okay, so then you can see what's going on here. The input on the left, the mode switch, treble, master, and pre. These are all Allen Bradley 2-watt pots. If you see the schematic, it'll outline exactly what values are for what. And we'll just briefly start off at the power supply here. Now it's a 5-volt 5Y3 setup. Here's the tube. I'll do the best I can with my cell phone. And as you know, the 5-volt are the red wires. All the center taps are grounded to the transformer. You can see the sheet metal work that's gone into this. You'll have to buy what I like to use as a nibbler. And you can, I haven't done anything with the new style nibblers that attach to your drill, but the chassis is obviously completely bare when you start, and that's the first thing you do is you go ahead and do the mechanical. So you be careful with these cheap screws, and you go ahead and figure out your size and your location. Also, there'll be some nibbling to mount the input IEC module. In this case, this is a filtered module, very high end. I think just brand new the module is $120. Luckily I found them surplused. And then anyway, the B plus goes directly through an older switch. I recommend you try and find these things and repurpose them, because the new Chinese ones are just absolutely junk. So you'll have to source a good style and quality, something that'll handle the B plus. Now, like I mentioned, that this is a 5-volt rectifier, and here are your high voltage leads, and they are, I'm sorry, that's the yellow ones. The 5 volts are on the yellow wires. That basically powers the filament. It's a strange setup, but that's the way the 5Y3 works, is that you take off one of the high voltage is off the filament, and that's where you get your full wave rectification. So anyway, all the center taps and ground are going to the transformer stud. I'm going to get that out of the way. All right, now generally here is the we have three voltages here, B1, B2, and B3, all on this resistor string here. Of course, B1 is the higher voltage, which is going to the output transformer, which is mounted in the corner here. So to get the layout, we have the power input, we have the power transformer, and then the filter capacitors, and the red wires are the, in fact, B plus. As you know, one of them goes to the rotary switch here as far as the ground goes, and on top you can see here's B minus, the green wire, and it's connected across the string of pots and goes over to the selector switch. So that actually does have the negative, but it is grounded directly. So we want to make sure that we do that, and that's this little wire that's sneaking over right here. So B minus is directly connected to the chassis, as is the schematic well outlined. The negative side of your input, here's your input here, going directly to the 6SL7 input pin, which happens to be number 1, I believe. Now, one important thing to do is, as you build this, mechanically you're going to get everything installed. The first thing you'll do is fire up the filaments. Well, look at this. There's a filament dropping resistor, because lo and behold, this is an oversized transformer, as I've told and talked about. Then the 6.3 is actually going to come out more like 6.8 if you don't load it down with at least two 6-volt tubes. Here's the power tube, the final 6V6. And we have the output selector switch here also for the line output transformer, and there's more information on that. It's not an actual audio output transformer, so to speak. It's what they use in PA systems, and I've given that information in the bill of materials, the BOM. So here are the tone caps. So they're just neatly stacked, and we use the potentiometer string as sort of an assembly board. That in this case, the master and the sorry about that. The master and the pre output are both connected in the same fashion, with the coupling cap coming off as you're looking at it from the rear, the right, and that is actually plumbed over with this RG174, which I like to use. You can see how it's done. A little piece of white. I get this stuff at Harbor Freight. I better watch my lead pencil. I don't want to be drawing conductor traces with the white heat shrink. And this is, if you're not familiar with RG174, it's a form of shielded wire. Here's your center conductor. Sorry if there's focus problems. And then the shield goes to the negative, B negative, the chassis. Everything here is grounded in the star fashion. Everything goes to 1 point. Now I will cheat and use the chassis. For instance, here's the cathode on the output, powered on the other side of this larger watt resistor here. And, you know, I'll just, in this case, I went ahead and used chassis ground. Well, it's thick, fresh aluminum. In any event, you can see the filament wires are attached. Little super glue smoke here attached to the chassis. If you're going to use AC filaments, in which case we do here, look, I even put an extra wrap between the pins. It's important that you keep these attached to the chassis in the corner and to the surface as much as possible, or you end up getting AC hum. And you can see all the AC wires are twisted until they're terminated. And after that, they're gone. So that's a brief outline. Here's the 6.3 volt pilot light. You can see it's part of the filament circuit. But the first thing I do is mount everything mechanically, get that out of the way. Then run your filament wires, bring it up on a variac, and make sure that you have no more than 6.3 volts. If you do, here's a 3/4 ohm 20 watt dropping resistor. It's square. It attaches to the corner very well. Also, I want to draw your attention to the mounting screws of the cage. Let's see if I can show you something here. An example. Here they are. Here they are. These are number 4 by 1/2 inch long sheet metal screws. And they're installed, they're massaged in, I'll just say that. And you can see that they come in, let me show you here, just above the filament wires. These are only 6.3 volts, and the center taps are grounded, so I'm not really worried about any kind of insulation interaction. It's actually about 1/8 of an inch above the wire, so just FYI, don't be screwing into any wires. And the power module wiring is typical of any power appliance of this age, except we're not using capacitors across the line. All of that stuff is built into the filter here on the standard computer cord input. So here again, the layout, and I'll go ahead and show this to you. Excuse me. Okay. Don't forget, there's a sheet metal chassis under here that you're going to be starting with. And this is just gold vinyl and regular office type labeler stuff. And like Tommy Chung says, why can't you do that? So we come in here, and here's our power transformer and our rectifier. You can see it in here, the 5Y3. Now, as close as possible, we want is the preamp tube. Here's your input. There's the 6SL7. And then that goes over to localized output, which is in the back, which is very close to the 6v6 tube, and this is the audio output transformer. So that's the layout. I hope you guys have fun. That old style red dome power light, those things are hard to find. You have to pick them up on eBay. Sometimes they go for 20 bucks a piece. But I want to give you guys the most original Valco style 510/11, an amp from the 40s. So that's it. This is Doug at Indigo Labs saying good luck, have fun. Oh, by the way, you need to pick yourself up some of these for drilling the sheet metal out. If you're not going to use punches, you don't need punches. Get some of these. Now, for the tube socket, I think you may want to consider a punch. That's what I use on the end of a drill. But I use these to get the pilot hole started, and they are quick and they are clean. So, have fun, guys. Take care. Bye now.